So these are your point standings after 2 rounds of the normal championship. I have an 8-point lead over Carlos Sainz. Tommy Mäkinen is 3rd, and then we've got a 2-way tie for 3rd, a 2-way tie for 6th, and we also have a 2-way tie for 8th, as my teammate Kenneth Eriksson scored his first point of this championship as well. Okay, let's now move on to round 3, which takes place in Portugal. And in the constructors' standings, 12 points to Hyundai. And I'm going to assume there must be a glitch that says Citroën does not score points unless you play as the Ford driver, or unless you play as one of the Citroën drivers. Anyway, let's move on to Portugal for round 3.
When the World Rally Championship arrives at the most westerly country in Europe, the entire population takes time off to watch. The Rally of Portugal is run mainly on gravel roads by the coast. On every straight and turn, drivers pass a sea of spectators. They pack the roadside in their thousands, often spilling onto the road itself. Portugal may not have turned out many rally champions, but this event is a definite winner.
Again, I really don't know the name of the narrator, but I can definitely say he did a really good job in terms of explaining the backdrops for each of these rallies. So here we are then for Portugal, and where our first one is 5.2 k's long. And I think in terms of my setup for this, I'd say we're pretty much top notch from what I can see. Anyway, let's get moving now, before I waste any more of your time with going off on a rant. But anyway, we'll see how we do. As we begin round 3 of the World Rally Championship. I'm going to assume there's probably a few typo errors in this game in certain areas, but then again, considering this is more or less a first attempt at making a WRC licensed game, I will give them defense for that.
2, 1, go!
I think it's fair to say that under the circumstances, I probably would argue in saying that errors like this are expected. I also quite like how whenever you're pretty much riding over the bumps, you're not having to deal with a sudden increase regarding the RPMs of the vehicle you're driving when you go over the bumps. Again, this is quite literally Evolution's first attempt at making a WRC licensed game. And considering at the time Evolution was technically a subsidiary company to Codemasters, I would honestly say they actually did a pretty good job of designing this game, personally. Considering this is more or less a first attempt at creating a rally game. I still think the experience so far is actually pretty good for its time. May not be entirely accurate, but I still think, under the circumstances, it's pretty enticing for one reason or another, and I can see there being elements of panache. But either way, easy win in stage 1, as this time it was Richard Burns who finished second in stage 1. 5.3 second margin of victory in stage 1. And right before I get shut down for copyright claims, I am going to move on from that. Even though I could just turn the music down, but well, me lazy. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's right. So, stage 1 down in Portugal. And those are your results. So, 1 Hyundai, 1 Subaru, 1 Ford, 2 Mitsubishis, and 1 Peugeot in the top 6. And it looks like the Citroens have pretty much dropped out of existence, from what I can see. And Piero Liatti in the 3rd Hyundai finished last in the stage. Anyway, on to stage 2, and by this time it's going to be even longer. I'll keep the setup as it is, so let's get on with stage 2 of Rallye Portugal, and where I am hopeful in saying that my solid state drive will manage to hold up as it did last time. Even though I have pretty much been using this solid state drive now for nearly 3 years. So, I think it's fair to say it's more or less run its course by now, but at least I can say for now it is managing to hold up, in spite of the recent flux of errors I had with it. It's still holding up pretty well.
1, go!
Yeah, I think there's probably a few areas here or there in terms of response times they could have worked on, but I'm pretty sure they will have no doubt worked on that in future games to correct those errors. So I will give them defense for that, coming from someone who has actually played the one or two of the later games that follows up from this one. And I am half a second behind in Sector 1. However, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem, because I did have a 5-second advantage heading into the stage. So, I can probably afford to lose a few seconds, as long as it's not too many. But at this time, I think we should be okay, as Richard Burns is right behind me in the Subaru. It should also be mentioned that Richard Burns did also go on to win the World Rally Championship in 2001, and now I am a second ahead. So I think it's fair to say that in spite of me overshooting that corner, I did manage to gain some time back. But anyway, we keep ourselves moving. And over the crest, and going over a jump, and I'm off in the grass.
50, left 2.
Now it is once again Carlos who takes over the second spot.
Over crest.
But either way,
50, over crest. 50, left 2. Over crest.
we move on.
Into right 4 and very long left 4.
I'd honestly say these stages so far have been pretty easy to learn. Yeah, there are a few areas they could have worked on, but again, as I said before, because this is their first attempt at creating a rally game, I'm pretty sure they know where the errors are, and they will have most likely worked on those in future installments, for which there is a total of 5 installments under the development of Evolution, and I go into a ditch. You know what, there's no point. Well, looks like this is probably going to be where I lose the rally lead now, because I have pretty much choked the stage away. The way I see it. But that's okay, because I still have plenty of time to make up. And as I expected, I lost a ton of time as a result of me pretty much shooting off the track and straight into that hole. Anyway, 2 stages down. Moving on now to stage 3. I also know it's not going to be too hard to regain 4 seconds. But anyway, so P3 during the stage, and 2 Fords in the top 6, along with 2 Mitsubishis. And here's from P7 to P12, P13 to P18, and there's everyone else, with Piero Liatti rounding off the field in the 3rd Hyundai. Oh, okay, I'm only 3/10 behind Carlos. Yeah, I can make that up pretty easily. Okay, let's move on to stage 3. Ponte de Lima South. Okay. So we've had a pretty decent start so far, and I only have 3/10 to make up in order to get back in the rally lead. If I can win this stage by at least a second, then there should be no problems with me for the rest of this. So, let's try and see if we can be successful in putting together the stage win.
3, 2,
Here we go.
1, go! Long right 4.
We'll see how we go.
Into left 3.
I more or less know what it is I need to do now. I've pretty much driven on all 3 surfaces
Into very long right 3.
I can pretty much drive on, because I've driven on
50, very
dirt,
long left
snow
4.
and tarmac, and already off to a good start, because I am 3.6 seconds ahead of Carlos.
50, right 4. 100,
So,
right
pretty
3.
decent start so far. I'm also pretty sure that
Into long right
Richard
4.
Burns is somewhere in there as well.
100, left 2.
And 3.7 seconds is now the gap,
Into left 3.
as we have Carlos Sainz in second, Richard Burns in third, and Tommy Mäkinen in fourth.
50, long right 2.
Why did I figure that was going to happen? Well, I tried to rejoin the road, but unfortunately the game reset before I had time to react. But that's okay, because I'm still leading the stage somehow.
Right 4. 50,
But anyway,
long, left 4.
we go and move on.
100
Stage
over
losses
crest.
are pretty much expected at this point,
Into
but
right 3.
I can make up for
50,
lost
right
time.
3. Into very long, left 2.
As long as I stay on the road long
50,
enough.
caution, into right 2. And left 3. And finish.
Anyway. Yeah, 1.7 seconds. I'm okay with that. 1.76 seconds, the margin of victory in the end of stage 3. And moving on immediately before the copyright bots decide to shut this video down, for which I will not allow them to do. Anyway, there we go. So, let's now save the replay, because I can. Okay. Replay is saved. And now, we will move on to stage 4. So, 1.76 seconds, the margin of victory over Carlos Sainz, Richard Burns 3rd, Tommy Mäkinen 4th, Freddie Loix in 5th, and Harry Rovanperä 6th in the Peugeot. There's P7 to P12. P13 to P18. And P19 to P21, as it was Toshihiro Arai who finished in last. Okay, I now lead the rally by 1.44 seconds over Carlos, Richard Burns 3rd, Freddie Loix 4th, Tommy Mäkinen 5th, and Harry Rovanperä in 6th. And these are your other results so far. Okay, on now to stage 4, Ponte de Lima East. Not going to change the setup, let's go. As we have just 2 stages to go here in Portugal, and then we can move on to round 4, which takes place on the tarmac roads of Spain. Here we go. Yeah, taking a little while to load, but again, because this is a PlayStation 2 game, I kind of expect that.
3.
Anyway,
2,
here we go.
1, go! 100 over crest.
Yeah, I do think with the launch mechanism,
50, very long,
there could have
right
been
3.
just a little bit more work done on that. I have noticed there is a slight delay when it comes to the launch mechanism for each of these stages, but I don't think that's really a major problem because, well,
50, caution, over jump.
up to this point,
Into left 4.
I think we should be okay.
50, right 4. 50, right 2.
But anyway. And it looks like this is a night stage because I can see the moon.
50, left 3, tighten. Into hairpin left.
And I can also see a helicopter. I can also confidently tell you when the damage mechanism is not switched on for this championship,
Right 3.
because I have pretty much no retainable damage
50 left 2.
on the car as things currently stand. But altogether, I still think just the overall experience
50 right 4.
of driving these stages, I still think it's pretty fun. Yeah, no point in trying that.
4.
I did not need to upshift straight into second. Oh well. Yeah, I'm really trying my hardest right now to somehow lose the stage because of all the mistakes I'm making right now. Other than again, since I've more or less never driven
Hairpin left.
a lot of these stages before, it's kind of expected.
Into hairpin right.
But anyway, I think we should be okay for now.
Long left 4.
And I'm now gaining time again, and I am ahead of Carlos, who is the guy that I need to be ahead of
Into left 3.
at this stage.
Right 2.
Don't really care where I finish anymore as long as I'm ahead of Carlos.
50 right
He's more or
5.
less the only guy I really need to worry about here.
50 caution over crest.
And I don't think I am going to be ahead of him anymore because I overshot another corner. Oh well. I think I still have time to make up, so...
And finish.
Yeah, that's questionable. But I think I might still be able to make up the time. Anyway, there we go. And now we move on to Stage 5, the final stage of Rally Portugal. I think I was only, 1.44 seconds ahead of Carlos heading into the stage. I think I should be okay. I'll only be, 6/10 behind? I think I can make that up, as long as I stay on the road long enough. So Richard Burns wins stage 4, Carlos in 2nd, myself in 3rd, Tommy 4th, Freddie 5th, and Didier in 6th. There is P7 to 12. As we can see, Colin is currently in P11. And the other Hyundais, they're not doing too well. But at least I can say they're doing better than the bottom 3. 2 of which I should mention are Citroens. Anyway. Oh, okay. So Richard Burns now has the lead of the rally over Carlos and myself. And I'm only 4/10 behind Carlos, and everyone else is way behind the rest of us. So I think it's fair to say the last stage is definitely going to be a competitive one. I also need to make sure that I don't make too many mistakes if I'm actually going to win this rally, because I'm actually being challenged for the first time. Although then again, because we're on the normal difficulty, I kind of expected this. I don't think the Novice Championship would have really had margins this tight. I think they would have been very spread out anyway. And well, since there's nothing that really says you have to do the Novice Championship, I'm okay with that. Because it means I can pretty much dip my feet into the deeper water rather than having to work my way over there through the shallow water. even though I can definitely say the water up to this point has been pretty shallow.
Right 4. Over crest.
But either way,
150.
I figured it was necessary for me to, well, just get my feet into the dirt early,
50. Left 2.
because
Caution.
I know this is where the progression really starts,
Over crest.
and I am a tenth ahead of Carlos after Sector 1. Can I manage to stay on the road long enough to make up that half a second I was behind Richard?
50. Caution. Over crest.
We shall wait and see.
Into right 2. 50. Left 2.
And that's grass.
50. Caution. Over
And now I am behind again.
50. Left 3. 50. Left 3. Into right 4 and left 2.
But anyway,
100 right 3.
we'll see how we do. Doesn't really matter if I win or lose. I did have an 8-point lead heading into this round anyway, so it's not like it's just going to be automatic doom and gloom. And 0.4 of a second behind Carlos.
Right 3. And left 2. 50. Right 3. Over crest.
Is that going to increase or decrease?
Right 2.
I wonder.
Very long. Left 2. Over crest.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Left 3. Over crest. Into
And now I am 2
right
seconds up the
3.
road from
Right
Carlos. And Freddie Loix is now up to 3rd
4. Over crest.
in the Mitsubishi.
200. Caution. Over jump.
Yeah, maybe I should have gone with the longer gears here.
And
Oh well,
finish.
doesn't matter. I still win anyway. Yeah, that should be enough to give me the win. I'm pretty sure of it. 1.6 seconds. I was only, what, half a second behind Carlos heading into the stage. Yeah, I think we've got this one, from what I can see. And of course, moving away from the replay menu because, well, there might be copyrighted music involved there. And that's why I had to just get the hell out of there. Anyway, stage time first and rally result first. Still, I gotta say, that was definitely closer than the rallies I had before up to this point. I was actually given a challenge. And in all honesty, that's probably what made it more fun. But anyway, there we go. 1.6 seconds, the margin of victory over Carlos. Richard finishes 3rd, Tommy 4th, Freddie 5th, and Didier finished in 6th. And just outside the points we had Marcus Gronholm and Colin McRae. And here are some other results. And this is from P13 to P18. And P19 to P21. And 1.2 seconds, the margin of victory in the end over Carlos Sainz and Richard Burns. And I gotta say, that was definitely more fun than what I've had up to this point. It was actually a close rally, plus it was also a 3-horse race as well, which, in all honesty, makes it even better. But anyway, there's your top 6. And here are the rest of the results, as I show those off so frequently. As best of the rest, it was Harry Rovanpera in the 2nd Peugeot. So there we go. Oh yeah, I should probably save the game as well whilst I'm at it, just so I don't forget. I better do that now. Just because I can. Wait, what did I save it as before? Oh, I just saved it as my name. Okay. Well, might as well do this right. Damn it. Right before I forget. Okay, now we're good. So, saving the game. I've already shown you the results. And yeah, rally victory celebration. Even though I can hardly see the guys celebrating. Oh well. Even if it's in a very blurred out vision. So, we've definitely got some parity underneath the top 3, as Richard Burns has now moved up to P4 as a result of him finishing 3rd, and now 11 drivers have scored points. And now let's move on to Rally Spain coming up next.